Well, things are about to get very interesting in Europe because for the first time in history, a NATO member is shifting away from the European Union and instead declaring that its future is with China and the BRICS alliance. Make no mistake, this is all part of an unraveling that we are seeing across Europe as the war in Ukraine is nowhere close to being over and in fact is escalating by the day, to the point where we could now see Western troops soon fighting against their Russian counterparts in Ukraine. Just look at what has happened since Joe Biden authorized Ukraine to use US missiles and strike Russian territory. For the first time in history, the Kremlin has now declared the United States an enemy, and now Putin has publicly stated that Russia can provide long-range weapons to strike Western targets.
Кто-то считает возможным поставлять такое оружие в зону боевых действий для нанесения ударов по нашей территории и создания проблем для нас, то почему у нас нет права поставлять наше оружие такого же класса в те регионы мира, где будут наноситься удары по чувствительным объектам тех стран, которые делают это в отношении России?
This is, of course, right after NATO announced it has plans to get U.S. troops on the front line to fight in Russia and is actively developing land corridors to quickly funnel soldiers through Central Europe. Here is a map detailing exactly what these land corridors look like. These new corridors will extend from Scandinavia in the north all the way down to Turkey in the south. But here is where things get interesting. Turkey has been a NATO member since 1952 and is home to the second largest army in the NATO alliance. It goes without saying that Turkey is extremely important to NATO, but while most of the West was distracted with the 34 counts of felonies against Donald Trump last week, a very strategic meeting took place in Beijing. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan met with his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi in Beijing to discuss Turkey's future economic growth. Turkey has been waiting on EU membership for 20 years. The harsh truth is that they're never going to get it. The main reason they were allowed into NATO in the first place was their strategic location on the Black Sea. But the idea of allowing a full Muslim state into the EU has proven too big for most Europeans to accept. After decades of mistreatment and broken promises from the EU, Turkey is now ready to move in a new direction and shift its future to China and other BRICS countries for better economic prospects. In fact, those were the exact words of the Turkish foreign minister who said the China-led BRICS alliance could offer Turkey a, quote, good alternative to the European Union. Now, in reality, I don't blame Turkey at all for wanting to switch alliances. Europe has been in a massive decline over the past few years and are facing a difficult future as they try to find their position in our new multipolar world. The reality of this situation was highlighted in this article, Will Europe Be the World's Biggest Loser?, which highlights Russia's war against Ukraine, the Sino-American rivalry, and the rise of new middle powers is spurring a profound reorganization of international order that will leave Europe at a distinct disadvantage. We actually did a full deep dive on the decline of the German economy and how blindly following the US government's wishes has resulted in a record 2 out of 3 German companies moving at least part of their company abroad. The future of Europe is indeed very gloom. And if you want to learn more, stay tuned to the end and I'll link that video for you to watch. But for now, European eyes will be on the Turkish foreign minister, who revealed his hope that Turkey will become a full BRICS member later this year. The Turkish foreign minister Hakan Fidan will next travel to Russia this week and meet with the other foreign ministers of BRICS countries in a run-up meeting that will set the stage for BRICS' largest annual meeting of BRICS presidents in October. As you can imagine, the potential of Turkey, who is a NATO member and holds the second largest NATO army, joining the BRICS alliance is probably the last thing the West wants to see right now. In fact, when this news broke, the Kremlin immediately came out supporting Turkey's decision, and this of course was followed by China's foreign minister Wang Yi stating, China is ready to strengthen strategic alignment with Turkey to counter power politics on the international stage. China is willing to continue to strengthen coordination and cooperation with the Turkish side within the framework of the United Nations and the Group of 20 to oppose all forms of hegemony and power politics and to maintain the stability of the global supply chain. This is a textbook quote from China's government, who once again sees Turkey's ascension into the BRICS alliance as a very strategic move. China and Russia are the 2 most prominent BRICS members, and once again, we'll see an important meeting between all presidents of BRICS member states this October in Russia. The BRICS organization will launch its own currency for international trade and make a formal decision on which new countries will be admitted into this popular BRICS alliance. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said last week that there are more than 40 countries expressing interest in joining BRICS, and which countries will be admitted to the group will be the primary agenda of October's annual meeting. This article from Coin Tribune reveals that 7 new nations are eyeing BRICS membership in 2024, and those countries include Cameroon, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Syria, Thailand, Venezuela, and Zimbabwe. Thailand would represent a major addition to the BRICS alliance, as it would be the first country from Southeast Asia to join BRICS and has been largely seen as a U.S. ally in global affairs up until this point. Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif landed in Beijing last Tuesday to kick off an official visit, whose goal is to enhance ties between China and Pakistan and push forward the development of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, also named CPEC. Once again, I've done a deep dive on this project and why Pakistan is so important to the future of China and the entire BRICS alliance.